What's going on, y'all? We're back with another reaction video today. One of them real life topics a little
Welcome
bit.
back to the Tamed course.
We have a quick way to overcome addiction. Now, I feel like when people think of addiction, they first thought goes to drugs, but you can be addicted to a lot of different things. Anything that you do that is not perceived as healthy for yourself, and you do it outside of moderation, which is outside of a balanced level, could be addictive. And it could be anything. It could be playing video games. It could be sex. It could be pornography. It could be drugs. It could be working. You could be a workaholic. You don't know anything but work. It could be, secluding yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you just addicted to certain things. Let's see. Shout out to Improvement Pill. Again, it was a 5-minute vid, so I said, why not? Let's check it out.
Recently came across an idea that has changed the way we look at building habits.
That's another one.
This is an idea that will make it easier for you to stick to good habits and avoid bad ones. And we call it the nothing rule. How does it work? Well, when you go to the gym and have an intense workout where you pushed your body to its limits, you'll probably feel pretty sore for the next couple of days. But when this soreness comes around, you don't feel bad about it. You actually feel kind of good, right?
Facts.
Even though it literally hurts to get out of bed and move, you feel good because you know that you put in a lot of effort during the workout, and now your body is rebuilding itself back stronger.
Facts.
You know that this type of pain is part of the strengthening process. On the other hand, let's pretend that you're a complete newbie, and you didn't know that being sore was part of the process. If you suddenly woke up 2 days after your first intense leg workouts with incredible pain in your thighs, you might be worried. You might think that you did something wrong because you were fine yesterday and all of a sudden you can barely walk. This pain might even cause you to take some medication to try.
I haven't had that soreness in so long, bro. Like, to where I can't walk, or I literally can't lift my arms, or it's like been a while. So I must not be working out hard enough.
Try and alleviate the symptoms. The only difference is that you don't know that the pain.
I know you don't have to go that crazy, but
part of
it's been a long while since I've had
that.
A
good sign. The reason I'm bringing this
Drink
up
once a
is
week.
because pain works in a very similar way when it comes to our addictions.
Yeah, I
Not
stopped.
just our addictions, but all of our behaviors. You see, whenever you indulge in any pleasurable activities, whether it's playing video games, watching naughty videos online, or chomping down fast food,
Food is an
spiking your
addiction too.
dopamine to levels much higher than normal. Now, what's interesting is that when you stop these activities, your dopamine doesn't just return to the baseline level that you started at. It actually drops below baseline, directly correlated to how high the spike was, which means that the higher and longer the high you've been chasing, the lower you will drop for longer. Now, what does low levels of dopamine feel like?
So do y'all understand that? Let's go run it back just to give people a good understanding.
Videos online, or chomping down fast food, you're spiking your dopamine to levels much higher than normal. Now, what's interesting is that when you stop these activities, your
So dopamine is like the pleasure chemical in your brain that makes you feel good, that makes you want to. Your brain is attracted to that feeling, so it's going to make you make subconscious decisions to pursue things that will give you that feeling. So your levels don't go back to normal, they go back to lower than normal. So it makes you feel bad sometimes after. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what he said.
Dopamine doesn't just return to the baseline level that you started at. It actually drops below baseline, directly correlated to how high the spike was, which means that the higher and longer the high you've been chasing, the lower you will drop for longer. Now, what does low levels of dopamine feel like? According to Google, a lack of motivation, tiredness, inability to focus, anxiety, can't feel pleasure from previous enjoyable experiences, feeling of hopelessness, trouble sleeping, and more. Essentially, you feel like crap. This, in a way, is a type of pain. It's not really the physical pain you get from a hard workout. This is more of a mental thing, a boring, uncomfortable, sad type of pain. Now, what's interesting is that this pain is actually a good thing, just like how the soreness after working out is a good thing. You see, the only way for your dopamine levels to recover to baseline levels, to the levels it used to be at when you were younger, where it was easy to find motivation and pleasure in life, the only way to get closer to that level is to do nothing. This boring, sad, tired feeling you get after taking a break from pleasurable activities is a sign that your dopamine levels are slowly starting to recover. So instead of reaching for more dopamine spiking activities to relieve yourself of this pain, do nothing instead. And
That's almost like fasting, like very much like fasting. So I can see how that makes sense. It sounded weird when he said it at first. He said do nothing, but essentially I get that, because like fasting is like you're not eating anything, or you can fast for something specific, and it will heal the body. You can fast from an activity, and I guess that makes sense. It'll heal the brain. So that makes sense.
that you will eventually heal with time. Of course, I don't actually mean literally do nothing all day, more like stay away from as many pleasurable activities as possible and wait. Day by day, your baseline levels will increase, and many things that recently felt boring will start to feel slightly pleasurable again, such as getting some work done or chatting with some friends. Here's your chance to focus on building up these good habits so that you can eventually get a life where
Nah, Dylan,
turning
you
to your
good?
bad habits isn't your way of spiking your dopamine levels. You'll have a healthier alternative that satisfies you. Speaking of healthier alternatives, having someone to speak to about your issues is always a good idea because it allows you to untangle the mental mess that lives in many of our heads, which is why this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you can get the same professional and quality you would expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, with more scheduling flexibility and at a more affordable price. BetterHelp has a special offer today where you'll get 10% off your first month. Just go to back to the topic called the 10-minute tip I want to leave with you in regards to dealing with these negative emotions. It's called the 10-minute trick.
10-minute trick.
I picked it up from the Diary of a CEO podcast. This is something you can use if you feel like
I need to read more, bro.
Effective enough. When you feel a strong negative emotion, such as boredom or stress, where you want to do something to spike your dopamine a bit to help alleviate the pain, such as playing on your phone, you simply tell yourself, okay, I'll play on my phone in 10 minutes. This helps relieve some of the pain, for there's the pain of not knowing when you'll be able to relax that causes you to feel even more uncomfortable on top of the already negative emotions you feel during the dopamine recovery process. This is actually a huge source of uncomfortable feelings we have every day. Uncertainty. When you're trying extremely hard to stay away from a bad habit, it will constantly be in your mind. But when you give yourself a time slot to deal with a negative emotion, your brain can relax, knowing that there's already a plan in place for relieving that pain. And that's it. I hope the 10-minute trick and the nothing
is it I'll wait 10 minutes and then do this activity, or
mean a bit to help alleviate, such as boredom or stress, where you want to do something to spike your dopamine a bit to help alleviate the pain, such as playing on your phone, you simply tell yourself, okay, I'll play on my phone in 10 minutes.
Okay, so it's like making your brain have a moment to consciously think about what you're going to do before you do it. So it's like, all right, I'm going to do this activity, but I'm going to choose to wait 10 minutes before I do this activity. I think that makes sense.
This helps relieve some of the pain, for there's the pain of not knowing when you'll be able to relax that causes you to feel even more uncomfortable on top of the already negative emotions you feel during the dopamine recovery process. This is actually a huge source of uncomfortable feelings we have every day. Uncertainty. When you're trying extremely hard to stay away from a bad habit, it will constantly be in your mind. But when you give yourself a time slot to deal with a negative emotion, your brain can relax, knowing that there's already a plan in place for relieving that pain. And that's it. I hope the 10-minute trick and the nothing rule are helpful in your habit building journey. If you haven't watched the rest...
Interesting. I say do nothing. Like that's considered as fasting. Do nothing, I feel like that's considered as fasting. And the 10-minute rule is making yourself consciously aware of the decisions you're making. And I feel like intentionally trying to make yourself less impulsive. So I like it. We'll see how it plays out. Y'all try these things. Definitely gonna give some thought to this. Hit the like button, subscribe, stay tuned, stay blessed.
You done messed up, Aaron.
Ain't no need to play games. I'm cool with zeros on the stat sheet. I don't care if you knew Patrick Mahomes.
Them lies you telling won't get past me. If it's meant to be, I'm not gonna ask for a second chance. I'm only gonna ask you once after that, then it's out my hands. I'm not gonna question, just accept it, part of God's plan.